Hi everyone, thanks for watching. It's a new year, 2017, and we have New Year's resolutions, some of us. There's a few that I have had for a while that I have never accomplished in the New Year's, and I'm going to try to change that this year. You got to keep on trying, right? You can't give up. You can't say, well, I haven't done it before, so I'm not going to even attempt it this year. I believe in new starts, new chapters. So, the topic that I want to bring up for this year is one that's a kind of a favorite of mine, and I've even made videos in the past discussing this, and people have been interested and responded in comments and got some good lively conversation going. So let's keep going. It's about collecting, and in particular, just the way I feel about it right now, as of January 2017. One of my favorite themes when I discuss it is how my attitude changes with collecting back and forth. On the one hand, I go through periods where I think it doesn't matter how much stuff you have. The idea is to just keep collecting and collecting. We're here a very short time, and we're not going to live forever, so have a blast. As long as you're not hurting anybody and you're happy, just collect. And even if you're not going to be able to play all these records, even if you're not going to be able to read all the books back here, or not going to watch all the movies, just a massive, nice collection. If it makes you happy, the thrill of the hunt, to go out there and get it, get it. And that's pretty much where I stand for most of my life on this. But then there's always the times where you think to yourself, on the other hand, and this is where I'm at right now as of this particular moment in time that I'm capturing, I go through the feeling that, well, maybe it's good to liquidate some stuff and just really focus on stuff you really, really are going to want to keep for one reason or another. And I go back and forth. It's a vicious tug of war that this collector has to put up with, and he's been doing it for years. Well, anyway, the main thing I'm discussing here is the idea that I decided my first love, really, no surprise to anybody here, are the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles are my favorite in music. And while I like other things, other artists, and I'm going to collect other artists still, Elvis, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, some Connie Francis records, and I'm going to keep adding records here and there by other artists. I'm going to start, I think, to concentrate mostly on spending my money on Beatles related stuff. Now, I know that's going to make a lot of people happy out there, and it's going to make some people not too happy. But it's not going to stop as far as me showing non-Beatles stuff. I'm still going to be buying non-Beatles stuff. I just think I'm going to be a lot more choosy. I say this now. I'll completely accept the responsibility, and I'll eat the crow if it turns out that I go back on my word a month from now, and you start seeing me buying endless arrays of non-Beatles merchandise. But I just decided that, being that this room that I have here for music is rather small, I'm going to just concentrate on the Beatles. And I also love movies, in particular horror and science fiction movies. I'm not going to stop watching and buying that stuff. But if you look on the top shelf here, I'll try to tilt the camera just a little bit. There's a lot of movie related stuff up there, figures and collectibles for movies. And I think I'm going to put them in the closet in their boxes. It's just a decision that I've made. I've made a decision that I'm going to focus on Beatles as far as collectibles go. I'm not going to go out and be buying a lot of movie memorabilia anymore. And a lot of these DVDs back here, I have already kind of like liquidated. I got at least 50, maybe 60 DVDs that I haven't watched in 20 years or something like that, and maybe I'm never going to watch again. So I kind of like decided that those can be sold, so I sold some of them off, and that in turn makes space for things you want. I'd rather use those shelves for things I'm going to actively enjoy. I remember in 1992, I was having dinner with my late friend Mike and his wife at the time, and I was with my wife. We had a get together, a couples get together. We were at their house or their apartment, and we were sitting at the table having dinner, and the subject came up of collecting. And my friend Mike was a very big Elvis Presley collector. You can go back quite a ways here on my channel and find his collection. His Elvis Collector's Paradise is amazing for Elvis fans. But anyway, and when the subject came up, his wife said, You collect too many things, she said to me. She said, she was very outspoken. She said, you have to collect just one thing. Like Mike here, he collects Elvis, and he sticks with Elvis. You can't collect the Beatles. You can't collect Elvis. You can't collect movies. You can't collect. And of course, I was only 30 years old at the time. I didn't think I turned 30 yet. I was 29 still. And I said to her, I'll do what I want to do. You don't tell me what to do. There was a little bit of tension there for a while, but she was just giving advice, but we kind of got a little tense. And I said to her, I'm going to do what I want to do. This is who I am, and I'm going to collect whatever I want. And I still feel the same way. But the reason I mention this story now is here I sit all these years later, and I think to myself, she had a little bit of a point, I guess. And as I say, I may just take these words back and eat them a couple of weeks from now or a month. But yeah, so that's really what this is about. Just my personal decision to liquidate a lot of stuff that I'm taking in. I'm going to try to make it Beatles and solo Beatles oriented. When I have the money that I spend, I like to spend, on the side. Instead of dropping, say, $75 if I have it on an album by The Who, which I don't mind doing, wouldn't it be better spent for me personally as a Beatles collector to siphon that over to Beatles? You know what I mean? All the mad money you have, all the money that you spend on fun can be spent on Beatles. I don't have any children. My girlfriend and I, we just live here, just the two of us. And so we have money that we don't have to worry about aside from bills and living expenses. I mean, we don't have to buy kids sneakers and school books and clothes and all that stuff. So I have money that I can dedicate to a hobby. It's just a decision that I'm making. I don't know how that's going to bode as far as for when it comes to making these videos. I was going to, and I still am going to, make videos what I call either Vinyl Verdict or First Time Spins. I have two titles for those series, and that's just videos where I listen to records, and I have a stack down here that I've been listening to for the first time that are non-Beatles related, and I talk about them. I play them on my turntable, which is up here, and I just talk about them, see if I like them or not. But I don't know how many records I'm going to be buying like that. I don't mean to make it sound like it's going to be completely Beatles here. It is not. You can't listen to Beatles and solo Beatles all the time, and I like a lot of other things. So I'm sure I'm going to be collecting the records. I think mostly what I'm talking about is, let me break it down this way. I'm going more for, when it comes to collecting, I'm going more for music, and in particular Beatles, than movie memorabilia or movie artifacts and posters. I have autographs, movie autographs. I have my celebrities. I have them all, in photo albums or in frames that are in the closet. I don't display them. I can only display so many things. I mean, maybe someday I'll actually get like a house. I'm never going to buy a house, not with this hobby, but if we ever rent a house with more rooms in it for us to use for things, I may have multiple rooms. Then I'll make it a dedicated cinema room and a dedicated music room. But if I only have one choice, it's going to be the music, and in particular the Beatles. So let me know what your thoughts are on collecting in general. You can talk about what you think of my decision here, but I'd also like to see how you approach it and what you think about collecting. And you focus on one thing? Do you say the hell with it? I'll collect millions of things. My girlfriend thinks that makes it interesting. She supports my, a lot of women wouldn't, but she collects her things too. So therefore she supports me and my insatiable appetite for collecting all kinds of stuff. And she knows what it's like. It's funny, I see dust particles here with the bright sunlight flying around. It's nice. Anyway, nice beautiful sunshine right now. Take care everybody. Have a good day.